Hi Saru,
Hi, Surya.
you're welcome to TA Talks
Yes, very much.
and thank you for accepting our request.
Sure, pleasure.
You have been in transaction analysis training for
Last 30,
nearly
26
three
years.
decades.
Yes,
So, an important element of transaction analysis training is supervision.
yeah,
For that matter, any professional development.
exactly.
So, what is supervision according to you?
So, first I will say that ITA recognizes supervision as an integral part of TA training process. So, supervision is a very special contractual multifaceted relationship between a supervisor and a supervisee in one-on-one supervision, and between a supervisor and a group of supervisees in a group supervision setting. Supervision is a meta perspective where the supervisor initiates the supervisee to look at different perspectives for competence, skills, identity, and also for ethical boundaries. And supervision is also very important to safeguard the clients. And there are times when supervision also increases the repertoire of supervisory methods in the building up the supervisory competence.
Why do professionals need supervision?
Yeah, professionals need supervision when they are really in the process of getting their training and competence. Because initially they need a hand to hold, to be accepted, to be appreciated, and to be validated. Then they also have, sometimes they are stuck in their own process, and they also have dilemmas with ethical boundaries, and they also need challenges to sort of establish their competence and identity. All of these are looked at uh, for a supervisee in this process.
Much of this sounds similar to what someone experiences in therapy or general feedback. So, how is it different?
Now, feedback, I'll tell you, therapy is healing the past in the present to move towards the future. So, in supervision, we are not healing, we are only facilitating the person to have all the options or perspectives so that his competency as a professional increases. And feedback is a very objective summing up the process and the content, highlighting the strengths and also suggesting suggestions for improvement.
Who needs to take supervision then?
Especially trainees who are poised to become professionals. Supervision is very important. Even full-fledged professionals like counselors, psychotherapists, coaches, they all need supervision, because supervision is like two heads are better than one. So it really gives a lot of times direction, it gives challenges, it gives perspectives. So and also I find that people who are in the leading role, such as managers and CEOs, they also need supervision at times, because that reduces the stress level a lot.
So, it is not necessarily only restricted to trainees, but also those who are certified also need ongoing
Of course,
supervision.
very much. Very much. All of us are human, no? So we all can get stuck. We all can get into dilemmas. So it is not just people who are in training poised towards professionals, or even full-fledged professionals. They definitely need supervision.
So, does one come prepared for supervision? If so, what sort of preparation they need to make?
Preparation for supervision very much depends upon the level and the phase of the training, because there are times when, as I said, you need validation, and then direction, challenges, and depending upon what is their, barrier, they have to. These are all the issues that they usually come up in supervision.
So it helps if they come with a little bit of thinking of their own.
Yes, because that thinking also depends upon the level and the phase of their training process.
So I suppose therefore you would expect an advanced trainee to have
Yeah.
really given thought and come with their own
Yes.
analysis of the
Yeah.
situation.
As I said earlier, sometimes we need a hand to hold. So beginners need that.
I'm sure there must be several approaches and models of supervision. So
Now
can you
there
tell
are
us some of your favorites and also some of the popular ones?
There are several models, but what I find very pragmatic is Richard Eskin's developmental model, which can be administered to all levels, because beginners, what they need is acceptance, and intermediaries, they need their identity to be established, and advanced people or even full-fledged ones need challenges, because that is what I like about that developmental model. Then I also take the trainees through Petrushka Clarkson's checklist when they are poised for exams. And sometimes I also refer to Bill Cornell's dual roles in supervision, which is very much applicable when you are. Is dual role really applicable or not? That gives a clarity. So these are the mainly. Then there are several other ones which are also there, but these are things which I found very pragmatic and applicable to trainees.
Okay. In the beginning, you talked about how people come for supervision as individuals and also in a group setup.
Yeah.
Can you tell us the difference between these two?
Yeah. One-to-one supervision is a supervisor and the supervisee bringing an issue, and a group setting is a supervisor having a group of supervisees and giving the supervision using the resources of the group. And also, when one-to-one is done in a group, the other members getting their insights and learnings. That's the difference I see in group and individual supervision. Because there are much more resources available in a group setting, and then a lot of insights and clarity becomes clearer to supervisees.
Okay. So do supervisors need supervision?
Of course. They are also human beings, isn't it? And we are all challenged a lot of times in our frame of reference, culturally and socially and religiously and ethically. So definitely supervisors need supervision.
So in over these years, you must have had very interesting, varied experiences of supervising people from various different cultures, different levels. So share with us some of your interesting experiences.
So, very interesting challenge is the cultural differences. I have very varied experiences doing supervision in different cultures. There are certain cultures where there is a huge pleasing, and they are likely to say take everything that you say rather than sort of reflecting. Or then there are cultural places where the professionalism is lacking. So therefore the issues that are brought up are not very clear. And of course there are cultures where professionalism is high and they are very clear about what they want, and they also want challenges. So these are all interesting uh, challenges that I found, and sort of being present to those challenges have been extremely interesting for me.
So how do you navigate through these challenges as a supervisor? So how do you take care of yourself as a supervisor? What should supervisors need?
I I think the supervisory relationship is best when the supervisee's need is met. So that is my focus. Then, of course, you have models to fall back upon. Then you also, as I said earlier, and even social nuances.
And I suppose also continuously
Yeah.
reading and updating and
Reading, updating, and that doesn't mean that am not stuck at any point of time. Therefore, I also take supervision when I'm stuck there are challenges, very, very ethical challenges that I have faced. And that is the time when I really sort of taken supervision.
Thank you, Saru. Thank you for sharing with us your experience and your perspectives on supervision. I'm sure it will be very helpful for all our members of SATA, certified and trainee members, and as well for the general audience
Yeah.
too.
Thank you so much, Surya. It was really nice to sort of put out my ideas and perspectives to, to like maybe a larger audience.